MageeNews.com welcomes you to a very special place in our city. You know, sometimes in Magee, I think we don't even know what's around the corner from us. And if you've lived in Magee for years, you know where this building is. If you've not lived here for years, you need to know where it is. I always say it's under the water tank. I don't know what other people, how they tell you where it is, but this is the Overflow Church. And this Sunday, which will be the 13th, right? They will be opening their area larger. They're having 250 more chairs added to this, and I have Paul Barnard with me today to tell about the church, as well as Patrick Sanders singing in the background. So I hope you'll enjoy. How long have y'all been? Tell me a little bit about your beginning of your church and about the concept and the your mission statement.
About 9 years ago, if not 10, we began. Allison and I felt the call to go into church planting. We thought we would be in a big city somewhere where population influx had happened, but it turns out it was right here where I grew up, and that was odd for me because I didn't really know what to do. It was a rural area. Most of the church planting models, meaning starting a church, had to do with going into big cities, a lot of marketing, a lot of things like that. And we tried a lot of things for several years to try to get the church off of the ground. And then finally, about 9 years ago, as a matter of fact, I believe it was 9 years in October, a Richard woman came along, and Michelle, and we basically began together to meet in their home and just started from that point forward with no model because we didn't have any examples, any way of doing that. And our goal and our vision was to create a church where unchurched people would feel comfortable coming to. You know, and it's not a negative thing toward churches. A lot of people believe that. I know there's a lot of church planners out there, people that start churches, that are angry about church, and they get mad at the church, and so they go out and try to do their own thing. That is not at all what we saw. What we saw was that there's an entire culture out there that spoke differently, that dressed differently, that you know, there were so many different things that just didn't know anything about church, and so they didn't really fit in. And so we began to reach out to those people, and what we found out after years of dealing with these people is that there's so many unchurched people in Simpson County. So many that are unchurched, that don't go to church anywhere. I believe it was 99 when we first looked at the census, and the census said that there was a pocket of about 12,000 people in Simpson County that claimed no church affiliate, no religious affiliation.
That's so hard to believe, and I don't mean that negatively either. But you know, you think here we are in the center of the Bible Belt, and that everybody's going to church on Sunday, and here all around me were all these people that were unchurched, and it was just really laid on your heart. It's the
statistics say that 48% claim no church affiliation, but the truth is that's not counting the people that the census workers went to and said, do you go to church anywhere? Yeah, I go out to so-and-so, that hadn't been in years.
Right, and they're not about to say, I don't go to church.
Exactly, okay. Because we are in the South. And so when you deal with rural areas and people that are so disconnected from the church, we gave them a place. And it was, and I would love to say it was because of my personality that brought them in, and Richie's personality, Michelle's personality, but the truth is, we had someone come in that was an ex-drug addict that had done prison time. He became just about the very first person that we ever reached out to, and he began to bring his culture. He began to talk to his friends. He began to talk to people actually he sold drugs to, and brought them to church. And they began to bring their families to church, and they began to invite their friends to church. People would see these people get saved, come to know Christ. It would change their life tremendously, and because of that, people said, I want to know what this is. I want to know what this is. And they came, and they weren't judged at all. And as a matter of fact, I think Richie and I and our families might have been the only families in the whole church that didn't have tattoos at the time. And, you know, all we did was just preach the gospel. And that grew. And as it grew, we outgrew the living room. It was about 18 to 20 people in the living room. When we said we need to find another place, Miss Mary Joyce Walters blessed us with a place on the old Rose building in Magee. We got in there, it was about 30, 35 people, and eventually got up to maybe 40, and we said, look, we're about grown this, we've got to find another place. And so We ended up going, it was about 2 years later, ended up going to the place on Main Street, which was, I'm not sure exactly what it was. I want to say it was Blossom.
The Blossom Boutique.
Yes,
yeah.
we moved in there and was able to rent that, and at least it was a great opportunity for us. We grew there to about 50 to 60 people, and it just got to where it was too much.